A lot of us actually make mistakes when it comes to the issue of the management of money. And these mistakes sometimes are very costly. They can endanger our finances and they can actually destabilize a lot of things in our lives, most especially when it comes to finances. And that is why this lecture is very imperative, it's very obligatory, it's very important that you watch it from the beginning to the end. It's very important for us to correct those mistakes and avoid them in the future. And we're not actually saying that making a mistake is not part of life, because when you make a mistake, you learn from your mistake. But it will be unfortunate that when you make a mistake and you don't learn from those mistakes, that's where the problem actually lies. So in this topic, I'll actually be discussing about some common mistakes that people usually make when it comes to the issue of money. The first mistake people actually make is that they don't have what I call budgeting plan or financial plan. You can imagine a situation where you don't have any plan for your money. You actually work because one of the first things that will actually guarantee money for you is when you actually have a work or a job that you're actually doing and you get paid. And at the end of the month, despite all your effort, your sweat and your stress and the pain and all the sacrifice and everything, you get paid. And when the money actually comes, you don't have any plan for that money. It's a very, very precarious situation. It's actually a preposterous situation if you actually find yourself in this situation. You see, when money is actually earned, you need to budget for the money. You need what I call financial plan for that money. And that's why when you earn that money, the first three things you need to do is to split that money into three parts, and that is investment, savings, and spending. Now, when you get that money, the first thing you need to do with that money is to actually invest part of that money and also save part of that money for emergency. Then the remaining part of the money is what you are going to spend at the end of the day, because it is very, very important. So once you split that money into three parts: investment, that is the money you actually invest, you don't touch. Then the savings is actually one for a period of emergency. Then the spending is what is going to take you through that month, that 30 days before and that money actually comes in. So you need to have what I call an articulate budgetary plan or financial plan. So if you don't have any budgetary plan to do, then it is time for you to start making one. Then we also have another common mistake that people make is what I call the hero syndrome. The hero syndrome, a situation where you want to save the whole world. You are not saving yourself first, but you actually want to save the whole world. That's, it's actually good to be a hero. It's actually good to help people. It's actually good to assist people, most especially when you are in a position to assist them, when you have what it takes to assist them. But sometimes don't play the hero syndrome where you always want to solve the whole world's problem and you are not solving your own problem. The first thing you need to do is that you solve your own problem first. Then if there is a room for you to be able to assist other people, you can actually assist them. A lot of people actually make mistakes in this regard because we come to the social media, we flaunt our wealth, we flaunt our assets and everything, and people actually believe they're actually rich and they actually approach you for one form of assistance or the other. But unfortunately, you're unable to help them, and that will actually strain the relationship between you and them at the end of the day. So to avoid this kind of a thing, you need to be protective of your asset. You don't need to flaunt yourself on the social media. You don't need to show up yourself. You don't need to display your wealth. And even when you do that, you discover that you might likely fall into some unwarranted circumstances or situation. So you need to guide in this yourself in this regard. So don't play the hero syndrome. Don't try to save the whole world when you're not saving yourself. So save for your future first. Invest for your future. Then you can actually assist other people based on your ability. So you don't need to sacrifice yourself for other people before you can actually help them. Then the three common mistakes that people actually make, or the third one, is that a lot of us are governed by what I call personal aggrandizement, or what I call greed or selfish nature. A lot of people, though man himself is a selfish human being. We have that innate selfishness in us. But it will be very bad when we are extreme in our covetousness or our desire to acquire wealth within this a twinkling of an eye. Because building wealth actually takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of years, it takes a lot of commitment and determination and focus and the rest of them. So if you are not focused, if you are not determined, if you don't have the resilience or what it takes to actually make the wealth, then it will create a problem for you at the end of the day. What we're saying there is that syndrome that people always have to get rich quickly, is not a very good one, because at the end of the day, you discover that a lot of people actually engage in activities that will actually affect them at the end of the day. Because if you have that get quick syndrome, there's every possibility that you might get yourself into trouble at the end of the day, most especially when you are gambling. A lot of people today are gambling, they've been gambling for so many years, and unfortunately the gambling has not taken them to anywhere. Do you know that money actually using to gamble, if you actually invest the money and you get what I call 23% or 25% return per annum, that money will go a long way and make a change in your life. Then I need to provide this scenario to where people actually believe that they need to build house first before they start investing. Of course, building house is very important, but you need to fix your finances first before building your house. Because when you actually invest your money, the profit or the returns from that investment can actually build your house for you. So that's also very, you need to take that. So greed, the urge to get or make money quickly, you need to avoid these mistakes. Then another thing, that common mistake that people actually make when it comes to money, is lack of investment. We are in a world now where people don't even know about investment. This education and financial education about investment, a lot of people are not aware. I've asked questions from people, a lot of people are not aware, and they believe that the best way through which they can actually create wealth is actually saving money. Saving money in the bank account cannot create wealth. I've said this several times. It cannot make you rich, because at the end of the day, inflation will eat into your money, and if your money is not growing and the money is actually stagnant, you discover that irrespective of how much you have actually saved, that money cannot save you at the end of the day, most especially if you actually belong to what I call the middle class. So saving money is not a prerequisite to investment, but you need to invest your money and make more money at the end of the day. So lack of investment is also one of the common mistakes that people make at the end of the day when it comes to the management of money. So let's be guided in this regard. Then another thing is what I call lack of courage to invest money. Despite the fact that a lot of people also know that investment is the key to the future, but they lack the courage to invest. Imagine you don't have the courage, you don't have the determination, you don't have the focus, the resilience, desire, the urge to actually invest your money. A lot of us are governed by what I call procrastination. We keep procrastinating, postpone, I'm going to invest this month, I'm going to invest this month. Before you know it, 12 months has gone, I have not even invested a time, and you keep postponing. Before you know it, the whole year is what's actually gone. So lack of courage, you need to be determined, you need to stay focused, because one of the preamble to wealth creation is determination and being focused and being hardworking and being honest with yourself and being resilient at the end of the day. So you need all these factors combined together. So you need to conquer that spirit of procrastination. You need to defeat your procrastination. You need to defeat that lack of courage to invest money. So most times why people don't invest money is because they actually spend more money on vacation. They go on vacation, they spend money on organizing parties, they spend money on buying expensive cars, and they like showing off on the social media, or showing up or giving the impression to people that they are actually rich. Being rich or giving impression to people that you're actually rich does not make any difference in life. So if you're giving impression to people that you're actually rich, it doesn't make any impression, it doesn't give you any award or anything. You understand? And so you need to invest your money if you actually want to be rich in life. Let me quickly talk about what rich people do, wealthy people do, that that other people don't do. What are those things that wealthy people do that other people don't do? So number one is that we have three classes of people in the society. We have the rich, the middle class, that is the rich class, the middle class, and the poor class. You understand now? these three people, they make up what we call social stratification in society. So the question is, which group do you belong to? Are you in the rich class, or the middle class, or the poor class, or the upper class? You get it now. So which class actually do you belong to at the end of the day? So these three classes of people. So there is something unique, but there are some certain things that are unique that rich people actually do that other people don't do, or the middle class don't do. I will start with what, with the poor people. You see, poor people believe that money actually exists to be spent. When they earn the money, they spend the money. There's not even room for savings. There's no even room for investment. So once they earn the money, they spend the money. That is the poor class. And if you belong to that category, you have to change your orientation, your mindset, your belief system about how money actually works. You see, money is what is spirit, and because it's actually a spirit, money does not like to be stagnant. Money is meant to be spent. And when I say being spent, that is investment. Money is meant to be invested and not to be made stagnant. It's actually good for you to buy those things that you actually need in your life, but it is not good for you to actually buy everything you need in your life. You need to buy or create what I call priorities for your taste or what you actually wanted. So in other words, not everything you have to spend, it's not everything you have to buy in life. But for the poor, they always buy everything. So there's no room for investment, there's no room for savings. So poor people believe that money exists to pay bills also, to pay bills and to fund their lifestyle. To fund their lifestyle, they want to show, they want to flaunt, they want to impress people that they are actually rich. It's actually a poor mentality. So if you have that mentality today, you need to avoid that mentality. So poor people earn money, they believe that money actually exists to pay bills and to fund their lifestyle and is meant to be spent. Then the second category, which is what we call the middle class. The middle class. You see, the belief system or what the middle class believe about money is actually quite different from what the poor people believe about money. So for the middle class, they believe that money actually exists to buy or to fund or to build what I call their credit cards and to get more loans to buy houses and buy nice cars. That is their own belief. That is for the middle class. So the middle class believe that money exists for them to actually build their credit card rating. I could remember some time ago that I used to take money from these mortgage financial institutions on the internet and the rest of them. It got to a time that my credit rating was higher and they offered to pay me a big sum of money. Till today they are still disturbing me that I should come and take that money. About 4 million or thereabout, I should come and take 4 million. And I asked myself, if I actually have to take 4 million naira from you and I'll be paying a cumulative interest of about 12 point something percent for the next 1 year or for the next 9 months, that means that I'm going to be paying 12% times 9 months or 20% times times 10 months. That is, I'm going to be paying about 120%. So if I actually take 4 million naira, I'll be paying about 6 point something million naira as interest. And what I've actually borrowed from the bank. So it is penny wise, pound foolish. So if I actually take that money, it's a suicidal something, because at the end of the day, if I don't have a business I'm doing that is going to get me more profit at the end of the day, and I take that money, I'm going to sweat, I'm going to regret my life taking that money. And that is the situation a lot of people actually belong to. They don't even think about the interest rate. They just wanted the money to buy nice cars, to buy nice houses, to look rich, to dress fine and the rest of them, and give the impression to people that they're actually rich. Whereas their lifestyle is actually funded by credit card and loans and other credit facilities. So to the middle class, their idea about money is to increase their credit rating so that they can afford nicer things. They can go on vacations, they can buy nice cars, they can fund their housing and the rest of them. And all these things at the end of the day is what I call liabilities. Anything that is a liability is what is going to create a hole in your pocket, and you are going to pay a price at the end of the day. So liabilities does not create wealth, but rather it creates a hole in your pocket. But what will actually create wealth for you is what I call asset creation. And what is asset creation? Asset creation can be created through what I call investment, either as an entrepreneur or as an investor. So the shortest route to wealth creation is that you can either be an entrepreneur or you can actually be what I call an investor. And that's why in a capitalist society, you discover that the system is actually rigged. It's actually rigged. That those that can actually make it in this capitalist system are those that have financial education. And that's why financial education is very, very important in your life and my life as well. Then the third one is that which is the category of the rich class or the wealthy class. You see, their perception, their belief about money is quite different from the perception or the way the poor or the middle class think about money. Do you get it now? To the rich class or to the rich people, they believe that the true function of money is actually what I call expansion. So for the rich, they believe that the true function of money is actually for expansion. Money is not supposed to be spent but invested. Do you get it now? Money is not supposed to be spent but be invested. So for the rich class, once they lay their hands on money, they invest the money, and that's why they have what I call expansion. That is, the money is going to compound over time. So what I mean here is that the rich people, that the function of money is actually for expansion, which means using their money to make more money. They use their money to make more money. So that's the concept, that's the idea, that's the way, that's the perception that the rich people actually see their money, most especially those that are actually investing their money. The way the rich, the middle class, and the poor think about money is quite different from each other. To the poor, when money is in, it's meant to be spent. No room for investment, no room for savings. Then for the middle class, when money is in, it's meant to create or increase their credit rating and buy nicer things and look rich. They want to give the impression they're actually rich. But for the rich, when money is in, money is for expansion, money is for investment, money is for the creation of more wealth. So you need to have an orientation. This orientation is very important for you, that even though you are in the class of the poor, you can still be rich if you actually invest your money. And that involves what I call a decade of sacrifice. If you can be consistent, if you can be determined, if you can be focused, if you can be more committed, where you are actually investing money and money and money every time, you discover that over a period of time, maybe 5 or 10 years, your money is going to compound. And when it compounds, it means that you're going to have ×2 of what you've actually invested. Do you understand now? So a lot of people today will tell you that I can't be rich, I can't be rich. It is possible you can be rich if you are actually consistent with yourself. Now, before I actually round up, I'll quickly give a summary of what the world actually looks like today, so that you can actually know where you actually belong to, whether you're actually rich or you are just at that particular level, which you need to change at this particular moment. You see, the richest people in the world are 75% entrepreneurs. You ask me, who are entrepreneurs? Entrepreneurs are what? Are business owners. Those that owns business today controls the world. Because in every society we have two classes of people: the consumers and the producers. The consumers are everybody, including me. We buy every day. We need money to buy things. Then we also have what we call the producers. The producers are actually the entrepreneurs. Those that actually own business. They are the capitalists. Do you understand? And we buy from them. And when you spend money on them, they actually, it creates what I call profit for them, for the entrepreneurs. So the entrepreneur today in the world today, they constitute 75% of the world. Then 15% of these people are also 15% investors. So in the world today, we have 15% investors, and they are actually rich. Then we also have 77% of people that actually inherited their wealth. We talk about people that actually inherited wealth, they are born into wealth, they are born with silver spoons, and the rest of them, they constitute what I call 7%. Don't forget, 75% are entrepreneurs, and 15% are investors. Then 7% are actually those that actually inherited their wealth. The 3% of the world today that are rich are actually actors, sportmen and entertainers, or these people that actually they art comedy. So they constitute what we call a 3%. Now, if you look at this ladder, there's nothing for the employee any longer. Nothing for the employee. So the employee actually constitutes 0%. 0%. Can you see that? 0%. So you are an employee today. If you actually have what we call financial education, I'm also an employee. I'm not an entrepreneur, but today I'm striving hard and I'm actually investing money. So why I'm saying this is for you to be able to know that those that are actually rich today in society are the so-called actors, sportmen, and entertainers, and those that inherited money, and those that are actually investors, and 75% of people that are actually what I call entrepreneurs. So for the employees, they are not in any cadre. So what will make it to be in one of the cadres that will constitute 15% is when you actually invest your money. So if you are in the category of the employee, you can still jump to number 2, which is 15%, which is actually the investors. So are you willing to invest today? The key to the future is actually investment. There are so many investment options that you can actually invest your money. A lot of you today now in Nigeria, they are making a difference in their life because they're actually investing, because they have financial education. I watched a video yesterday of a female that was talking about, thanking YouTube and the rest of them for bringing up people like Ramsey shows and the rest of them, that they come up to bring out the idea of how people can actually save money. And today, the girl is actually a millionaire because she's no longer spending her money, but she's now rather investing her money. So if you are saving your money in the bank, it will not save you. But what will save you today is when you actually invest your money, because the key to the future is actually investment. And don't forget that investing money is a decade of sacrifice, something you have to build over time. If you are thinking that you can actually become rich or your money can actually compound after 1 year, you are wasting your time. It's going to compound, of course, but the amount is going to be what? It's going to be little. It's like you have planted something and you are watching that thing over time. It's going to grow up into something big. If you are actually consistent, if you are focused, if you are resilient, if you are pragmatic, if you are determined, if you are very, very focused, you can actually get there. So if you can invest your money for over a period of 10 years consistently without stopping, you can imagine how much that money is going to compound at the end of 10 years. So at that point in time, you don't need to work again, you can comfortably retire yourself. Now let me give an analysis before I actually round up. Let's assume that you are investing 1 million naira every year for the next 10 years, and it's going to compound by about 20.3%. That means that in the next 10 years, you are going to have 23,600,000, 23,300,000 or 600,000 at the end of the next 10 years. Now, if I can actually continue to save that money for the next 20 years, that means I'm going to have 46.6 million. 46.6 million. If you can save 1 million naira for the next 20 years, you are going to have 46.6 million as a profit. And if you have 46 something million naira in Nigeria now, you don't need to work again, because every year you can actually pay yourself a salary. So out of that 46.6 million, you can pay yourself a salary, because in the compound form, that money is going to get you 9 something million naira as a salary at the end of every financial year. So you can decide to pay yourself a salary of 10 million naira every year. All you need to do is to split that 10 million naira into 12, and you'll be paying yourself salary without even working again comfortably. And you see the effect or the power of absolute compounded interest. So the decision is just if you actually invest yourself, if you start actually investing today, you can actually become a richer tomorrow. Till I see you next time, I remain your humble loyal servant, David Oni. If you have actually gained something from this video, please subscribe now, and don't forget to share the video, and also click on that notification button so that any video comes up, you are going to be notified. And don't forget to leave your comment on action and actually serve you better. Till I meet you next time, thank you and God bless you. To my returning subscriber, I say I love you. Thank you so much. Bye.